Kindness and politeness are not overrated at all. They're underused. No director wants to be directed, but no good director would shy away from the good ideas of others. Partnerships are good engines for narrative. I want to photograph what I see and put it in a dramatic context. I'm an actor and a writer, and I want to tell these stories and present these shapes, colors and movements as I see them serve a narrative, as I see that narrative serve an audience. That's what I want to do. Characters with no integrity are just as interesting as characters with lots of integrity. In the political world, the only position I have is voter. I'm not a spokesman for anything. How do you play someone in a movie? How do you do that? It's impossible, unless you know how. How do you cut somebody open and take out their appendix and sew them back up and watch them get well? That's impossible, unless you know how. I've made some bad movies, and I really enjoyed it. My grandmother grew up in a 19th century world, and my daughter has grown up in a 21st century world, and some issues, problems, dilemmas that these women face have not changed. If you want to know about my politics, the only way to do that is to look at my work. If military movies were automatically successful, we'd make nothing but military movies. But seriously, patriotism is one thing that all Americans have in common. I don't play just villains. I like to have parts that are not simply villains. I've worked with some very good directors and some very bad ones. I learned a great deal from both. From the bad, untalented people, you learn what not to do. And when you work with very highly talented people, you want to emulate them. I'm kind of pleased with myself that I've got a tailor on Seville Row. I'm 68 years old. I deserve it. I've worked in the film business for 45 years. And I want to keep on growing as a filmmaker. I want to see my visual life grow and be increasingly effective in this world. I don't fight anybody anytime or anywhere. I look upon pride as a sin. I have nothing against interviews. I don't pursue them. When people I work for deem it appropriate, I'm perfectly willing to serve. My idea in terms of managing a narrative, or in thinking in my creative life, is that you could easily argue that the past, the present and the future all occur simultaneously, and if you can postulate that, then you're not strictly bound to a linear narrative. Ethnic stereotypes are boring and stressful and sometimes criminal. It's just not a good way to think. It's non-thinking. It's stupid and destructive. I'm always happy to have a job. I haven't a clue if there is life on other planets, but I'd be charmed if we found a unicellular organism on Mars. It would change our whole concept of life on Earth. I know a lot of cowboys and I've done a little work on ranches with cattle, and those people become your friends, and keep their word. As a child of West Texas, I identify with Hispanic culture every bit as much as I do North American culture. Cormac McCarthy's language is perfect. He is in my view the greatest living American prose stylist. You can't instruct an audience to laugh, but what you can do is read well and understand the spirit and subtleties, if there are any, in the dialogue. I don't analyze things like titles. I don't do anything that is not fun. I just don't do it. I'm a believer in belief. Faith is something that works. It causes people to do things. It has results. It's an intangible, indefinable, very real thing. And it moves people, sometimes to atrocity, and sometimes to survival. I always told my children when they whined, only the boring are bored. I do not have a sense of humor of any recognizable sort. It's no mean calling to bring fun into the afternoons of large numbers of people. That, too, is part of my job, and I'm happy to serve when called on. Normal people with normal problems can be hilarious. There's an undeniable tradition of sexism in this country that ties into the move westward by people of European descent and different ways of looking at manifest destiny on the west side of the Mississippi River. I don't think I would describe my sense of humor. Doesn't sound like the kind of thing I'd do. As it turns out, my grandmother, my mother, my wife, and my daughter are all women, and I like those people. I'm concerned about the issues that they face in their lives. So I'm a feminist, but that's not all I am. The entire elementary school in Rodin, Texas, presented a theatrical production of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and the part of Sneezy fell to me. I love cinema. The most important question in American cinema, I've learned, is when is lunch? I have worked on very good movies that have been buried, and I've worked on some resounding mediocrities that have been paraded through the marketplace like they were masterpieces. I still think probably the only thing I'm suited for is being a boy from Texas. Acting is fun for me, and it doesn't really matter how, whether it's hard work or easy work, it's always fun. I don't get it. If you're saying, Tommy Lee, you don't fit the image of the East Coast, social elitist wealthy people who comprise Harvard, the only thing I can say is you have no idea what comprises Harvard. What appeals to me? There are things, points of view, uses of the language, habits of dress, ways of thought and believing that came to me from my grandparents and came to them from theirs. Things that are of good use in any situation, no matter what the future may hold. I think any stereotyping is too much. Human beings are glorious and preposterous characters. I haven't had a lot of comedy come my way as a performer. As an actor, to watch an audience of people howl together in a single mind as a result of work you've done together with friends is a privilege. I don't direct movies for a living. No, I don't think about the myth of the West. It's not the kind of thinking I do. That's more suited to people who live in big towns on the West Coast or East Coast, people who stay under a roof, in a room, all the time. My hometown is very small and very remote, and we don't have a movie house. It's no fun to be a struggling young actor. It's a desperate thing, no way to be happy. If you have any alternative, you should take it. I personally don't live a nihilistic life. I don't have any use for it. I'm a hedonist. I enjoy acting more and more than when I was 17. If you don't hurt anybody or try to steal anything, you'll be fine in the South.